it's either endless qualification, endless talking, endless describing, endless describing, and then getting into the minutiae of that, or it's silence. It's sort of anything in between doesn't quite cut it. So, you know, you have these outpourings and, you know, you say, try and capture them. I have the same issue, let's call it. There's constant words there, and yet they never touch the sides of the reality of it. It would be like trying to describe a strawberry, and you have to just keep trying your best. Yet it is only when you actually taste the strawberry that you go, ah, there's the wholeness of what I speak of. It's an infinitely faceted gem, and words are only ever a singular facet that is pointing to the wholeness, but they are not the wholeness in itself. So it's my constant struggle too, although I'm not so much struggling with it these days, but I'm constantly aware of that. That anything I say, I mean, this is why we keep having these satsangs and we can keep having them. My only hope is that it points you to taste the wholeness for yourself. But the words in themselves are irrelevant. Only in so much as they bring you to taste, to want to taste that. They bring you closer to where the finger pointing to the moon is pointing to. That's why I like to do transmissions, is because there's the silence. It's being the wholeness is being communicated in the silence. But sometimes we need satsang in order so that we can. It's like you need that in order to bring the mind along for this ride. In many ways, the way I see it is it is a letting go into the tasting of the strawberry, but there's a whole lot of reasons why the mind and the body tells you, no, we can't taste the strawberry. That's not what we want to go and taste here. And so it is that's what satsang is for me. And so it has its role, it has its place. That's why meditation has its role, has its place. All of these things have their role, have their place, but to recognize that they are pointers. The problem with uncompromising messages, other than silence, that's uncompromising as it gets. But let's say slightly more uncompromising in terms of satsang that is uncompromising. The problem with that is there can be a slight alienation that happens with our mind, with our experience with that. So for me, it is more skillful to meet someone where you find them. And from their point, from there, leave the breadcrumbs to the wholeness of what we speak of, what we, again, not speak of, experience, but point to. That's my view. Maybe not everyone would agree with that view, but that's my experience of doing this for a number of years now. That what can be heard, what can be experienced is entirely appropriate for that one in that moment. And to get frustrated or to look down on or see that that is worse or better, or not as good, or whatever words, is tricky territory. Because it assumes a certainty of a timeline and how it should go and what should be heard and the manner in which that should come about. You can see what you see when you see it. I'm sure you've all had the experience of sitting in a satsang or reading a text or a book or whatever, and something that is being said is a complete riddle, doesn't make sense, just cannot get your head around it. And you come back to that same text and or that same satsang or that same whatever it is, a year later, let's say, and you go, that's what they were talking about. It's because you've had that direct taste yourself, and so it makes sense. So we see what we can see when we see it.